everybody, it's Vicki here with the Lavinia World Video Design Team, and today I am going to showcase one of the new fairy cut dies. This nice long die matches Rue. That's this fairy right here, and I've actually done a lot of the work for us ahead of time because I wanted to save some time. But the way I used her is I actually followed Bonnie's technique. She's another member of the video team, and she showcased the same die doing a video on how to kind of paper piece this together so that you could have the branches in one color and then the fairy in another color. So I actually followed her instructions to make this card. And I did stamp Rue off one extra time. So again, this is Rue. She's so much fun climbing out of the trees. Now, mine is stained because I love her a lot. But this is what she looks like once she is stamped. Let me turn that around the right way. Just fabulous. And the die fits on here perfectly. And we'll match that up, but I will probably shake the table just a bit because I want to show you how nice these dies actually cut. And I've actually stamped her on not quite cardstock paper, but this is a watercolor paper that I like with some of the fairies in this way because they absorb the ink so much nicer off of the stamp. So I'm going to bring up my cutting machine and I'm going to load it from the back so that you all can see just how well this actually lines up. And then we'll tape it down. Let me try to get this high enough where you can see it. It's stuck in my, there we go. And then I just have a little piece of washi tape that I leave here. And as you can see, it fits just wonderfully on it. Leaves you a nice outline that you can cut around if you don't like the white. For this card, I'll show you what I did. So I'm just going to tape this down so we don't lose the placement. And then I'm going to put the top on and I'm going to roll this through. Now, I go back and forth with almost every single one of my dies just so I get a nice clean cut. But I can tell you that I did run it through one time, and on the watercolor paper, it actually cut all the way through. So I'm sure on just your basic card, it's going to pop right off. And so you can see that's exactly what happened here. So let's move this out of the way before I pinch my fingers and lose something. Okay. Let me put this on there. I'm going to use my white paper here to show you. So you can see how nice that cuts. It leaves us a nice outline and it makes it so much simpler than fussy cutting. Now, if we follow along with Bonnie's video, what she did, I'm going to hold this up a little higher. She fussy cut around the hands and in between here because she had made the vine a green color. Now, I've done the same thing, so I'm going to show you that. I've already kind of placed and done the work. And because I'm actually going to pop her up on my card using some dimensionals, I actually cut out 3 just using some scrap paper to make her nice and stiff in this way so that she doesn't get messed up. But here's my tape. Thank you, Bonnie, for the tip. And so you can see I stamped the vine and I actually used our VersaFine Claire, the Warm Breeze, because it's going to match the background that I have. And then what I did was I embellished her wings a little bit using some liquid pearls and some Nouveau drops to match the ink that's on my background. So she's nice and stiff. I did actually plan on putting her on a little pendulum to get her to swing, but the ones I have are a little bit too thick, so I got to work out something to make that work. But also, as you can see, you know, I stamped her on the watercolor paper, which is kind of a creamier white than I would use normally, but it worked. And then what I did is I used the same ink and I brushed over the white areas on the card, and it actually helps her blend into the background. So For today's background, we're going to do something quick and simple. This is a background that I had put together, and the VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze matches this background very nicely. And then yesterday I also got the Purple Delight in. Now this looks, you know, pretty pink on the front, but is actually a really pretty magenta color that's very rich. And so we're going to do that. And this card is going to be a lot simpler than most of the cards that I do because I want the focus to be about that die. So I am just using, I've got both of my fairy trees. I've got the large fairy tree, which is actually nice and long and skinny. I love that. And then we're using the fairy fir tree too, which is wider and it's got a shorter, let me turn that around for you, sorry. It's got a shorter trunk to it. So I'm going to stamp first in the blue. And my pads are pretty wet, so I actually just got that over my finger. Let me move it off so I don't get it on my paper. Okay. These are two newer pads, so they're pretty wet. The one thing that makes this stamp a little tougher is it doesn't fit in my platform. So I use my big acrylic block, and then I'm going to stamp sideways so that we can see this. And I'm going to go all the way up with this one. And I know that my trunk is going to be off the paper. That's okay, because I'm making an A2 size card. So that's all right for this one. And I want to give this a really good press and let it set for a minute because I've got one chance at this. Those of you that use acrylic blocks to understand this kind of pain. So I'm going to let it go. Now, you can slide it off if you can hold on to it to get that nice impression underneath. But I'm not going to worry about that. So you can see that there. Maybe I can do this upside down a little bit. And I'm just going to stamp this off on a couple of places. I don't want to make it too terribly busy. So I'm going to come back in and I'll probably do one here. I'm going to go a little bit lower on this one. Try not to rock your block because if you've got ink on the edges, you're going to make a mark on your paper. I know it makes it difficult when it's such a big block. Okay, we're there. I'm going to do one more of the blue or the Warm Breeze. And for this one, I think I'm going to just go kind of all the way to the bottom, close to, let's do it close to this one. So again, I'm trying to not rock my block. And we're good. Okay, I'm just going to move that off to the side because we are done with that one, and I am done with the Warm Breeze for just a minute. Put that to the side, and now I'm going to use the Fairy Fir Tree 2, I believe is what that's called, and I'm going to stamp it using this new, what did I tell you that was called? It is the Purple Delight, and again, don't need a whole lot because these are new, nice, wet pads. Now, I'm going to stamp it over top, and you will be able to see the blue. That's okay. It's part of it. And I'm just going to go here. Again, trying to not rock, giving it a press nice, especially in the center with this one. I think mine might be a little hollow. I'm going to move it. Try. There we go. Look at that purple. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Okay, I'm inking it up again. And this time I'm going to come up higher, but I'm going to come across off the page a little bit. And then I am going to stamp it once more. But way off. Actually, I think I'll probably do it one more because I'm not liking the balance on this. Or the symmetry on the card. Alright, so there's one. Let's give it one more. And this one is going to come off down here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put another blue right here just for our symmetry. Even though quite a bit of them are going to be hidden once we put Rue on here. And of course we'll do our little moon silhouette that we do. But this is going to be a super fun card to do. Again, I'm going to put the ink off to the side. I want to do the Warm Breeze just one more time. And I really only need to... Okay. I think I'm going to put this right here, but pretty low. Now I just dropped that, so hopefully I didn't make a mess of our card, but we're going to roll with it either way. Perfect. Okay. I think my trees might be a little bit crooked. That might be the way they're on the block, or maybe trying to stamp upside down with you. I'm not sure. Now, normally we flick out, right? When we're doing, when we're making our, adding a moon or some kind of a silhouette, whether you're using it as the sun or as the moon, we try to move that out. But I want it to be the lightest on the inside this time, so I'm actually going to put it on the bottom. And I'm going to use my blending brush, and this is where we're going to get a little bit inky. And I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on my brush, and like always, I'm going to start off my card. I want to fill in some of these lighter spots down here, but I'm going around the just the die that I've cut out. And it doesn't look like it, but it's going to show up in there all the way around because we're making this darker now. All right, I'm going to turn this around so you can see. I'll be able to hold it from this direction. And I'm starting off the card. This is a background I made using the alcohol lift ink technique, which is so much fun. Okay, so you can see that on there, and it's going to pop off the paper even more in just a second, because now I want to go back out and use my, I don't know why I can't remember this, but the Purple Delight, and I can't remember the name of that. So we're going to make those edges even darker so that it blends into the Warm Breeze. And not a lot, just a little bit, mostly on the edges, and then just a little bit around our moon here. And you can tap it on the side. And you see I'm using just the outside of my brush right there. And now it really shows up in there. And you can come around to the sides down here if you want to add that in. But I want it to be a little bit darker. So that's where it came in, so we can get rid of all of that now. So that's how, or why, I actually colored in her vine here. And I have the vine set, and I forgot to pull those out, so I apologize for that. But I will go back in and mix in with the Purple Delight and the Warm Breeze and add some vines here. But she'll be here. And then I've got, I don't even know where I got these. It's probably the dollar store. I don't do a lot with dimensionals, but I'm going to give her a few because I want to give it that shadowy effect on the card. So I'm just going to put a handful on her over here. Give her. The worst part about it is peeling these off. Such a pain. But it gives it kind of a nice effect. And I'm going to put one here at the top. Hopefully it's not going to show through. And we'll do one more here on her legs and her body just to secure it. I'll fill in this hole. Okay, so I'm just going to peel these off real quick. Today's been like Christmas all the way at the beginning. I have a sailor coming home today. Super excited about that. And I'm working on this during lunch because I work from home right now. And we're doing our holiday luncheon. And this year we are doing it as a Zoom meeting, and everybody is ordering Grubhub. So that's going to be a little bit different. It's always been one of my favorite things to do is plan our luncheon with a game. But COVID is happening. So, all right, I'm going to turn this over so we've got a clean workspace. And I'm just going to pop her right down. I want to match up the top to that. And we're there. I'm going to press down all of the little pop-up stickers that I put there. Can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. But look at that, isn't it? Can you see how she stands up on there? So I've cut her out 3 times, and then glued her together. And it glued super simply, very nice. And she's right there at the top of the moon. So because it's a little darker down here, I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to come back in here. I just want that white to blend a little bit. And then she's not so hard on the page. So let's come back in. And that's it. She's all done. So, excuse me. So I'm going to come in with the Pewter liquid pearls, and I'm just going to embellish this just a little bit here and there. This is new. I like the Nouveau drops. That's always been my go-to for embellishing, but I wanted something different. I wanted to try a different product. So I'm using liquid pearls. I'm probably late to the party because I get stuck on something, and trying something new seems pointless. But I did do the liquid pearls. So now I'm going to use, this is the clear Nouveau drop. And one of my favorite things about it is that it totally transforms because it's translucent. I mean, it takes on the color of wherever we put this. So it's another way to save your colors. You could also use your markers, and this will absorb into that color also. And by absorb, I don't mean it like picks the ink up, but I mean it becomes that color's look. Let me do one on this purple spot so you can see that. And it's harder to tell in the camera, but I did the exact same thing on her wings that I've done here. And so it matches it perfectly. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer. You can kind of see that dimension where I've added. So right here on this spot, let me see. It's actually raised off the paper, but that clear Nouveau is taking on the purple color ink. There you go. You can kind of see that. I'm trying not to make you too dizzy. But there she is. I love it. I'm so glad there is a set of dies. I've got one more, which is, I believe she is called, this is the climbing fairy. She is called Fairy on a Branch. And I am going to put something together this weekend to share with you guys on that one. And I will probably do something pretty similar because I like how she is hanging in there. So again, for this purpose, I used Bonnie's technique. It's a little bit of fussy cutting if you don't mind doing that, unless you could take like a water paint brush ink and you could actually go in and do this. But it's literally just a few snips here and you've got plenty of room to work with. So I think that's much simpler. And this is my take on Bonnie's paper piecing and using Rue and the matching fairy cut die. So she's totally off of the paper there. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.